Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're back in the tower. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. What the heck is going on with the... Oh my gosh, hang on. Am I just chilling too much, man? Feels like the audio's still a little off. Chat, what the fuck have you been doing? Is that better? What's up? Hello there. Is the audio good? Are we good? Does it sound... Is it synced up? Is that better? Are you guys okay? Did everybody pee before we left? Did we get a head count? Are we good? What up? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Let's get it, man. Robert Downey Jr.'s back in the... Oh my God, what the butthole is up with my mic? I gotta get this... All right, well, we're gonna have to look into that later. Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, dude. You know, they actually did talk about him on Key and Peele in that one skit where the hotel guys come out and they talk about like all the stuff that's their shit. It was a while back. It was a while back, but they did talk about Robert Downey Jr. on Key and Peele like that. And look, a lot of us have been thinking that, you know, Downey's coming back. We've been talking about it since he left, basically, since Endgame. But we have the first reliable person indicating partially what the plan is for Robert Downey Jr. And so we want to talk about that. It's pretty exciting. Of course, there's Secret Wars stuff, but also Armor Wars. Armor Wars was trending yesterday as it was indicated that there are talks to bring Robert Downey Jr. back for Armor Wars, which is, again, something we all thought was going on. Now, there were doubters. There were people that were like, nah, that shit ain't going to happen. And there are probably still people out there that feel differently about this, that are like, I don't know about that. And I've seen some people be like, it smells of desperation. They get fucking desperate. Maybe. We'll talk about it. We'll get into all that and more. And there's just a lot of kind of fun leaks and rumors that are out there right now for Marvel Studios. So I figure we could kind of get into all of that and more. And maybe there's even... because, you know, we did the Nerdvenger stream yesterday. I appreciate everybody's patience with me because I know we didn't stream on Tuesday. I had friends over, had a really good time. And I know we talked a little bit about this in yesterday's stream, but there's some really wild stuff out there right now rumored for Thunderbolts, for Captain America 4, and it seems like FEIGE is literally just throwing everything he can into the Phase 5 movies, which in my opinion is great. I'm a little nervous about next year for Marvel. You know, I was sitting back and thinking about next year for Marvel and next year for Star Wars and even DC. I mean, like, I'll just say that I think DC just dead on arrival. RIP. I don't think any of that shit's going to pop, especially after James Gunn announces his new, whatever his plan is. And we'll see. Like, maybe, like, I don't know. You guys let me know. Do you think... And I'm genuinely curious. Do you guys think that there's a way that DC's movies next year will be really successful and everyone will be loving them and stuff like that? Because I've noticed with regards to that situation, right? Yeah, a lot of people are saying like, hell nah, bro. Aquaman will be? I don't even know about that, bro. Look, I've seen this group of people online that are like, I don't know. It's a weird combo of being like a film purist, doing it for the sake of the cinema, the acting, the lovely performances and the magic of cinema. And they're so hyped up on that shit that they're basically trying to tell people, you're crazy if you're not going to go see these DC movies. But it feels so weird because, like, comic book movies for the most part are not cinema. You know, that's not the draw. That's not why they're killing it. That's not why they're the biggest show in town. It's not because of the cinematography. It's not because of the love of movies. People don't fucking care. And when it comes to DC, man, there's this weird group of people out there that are like, no, you should still go see all the DC movies next year because they're movies. They kind of sound like, what was the guy's name that did those interviews where he was like, it's like a movie. That's what I really like about it, is it's so much like a movie. Who was that? Harry Styles that said that? That's what some of these people sound like. Like it's a movie. I liked how much it was a movie. Yeah, in my opinion, there's no way that the DC movies are going to perform really, really well. I would be surprised if any of them even cracked 700 million. Maybe Joker 2. Is that supposed to come out next year? Chat, help me out. Is Joker 2 supposed to come out next year? Joker 2 could hit 700, could even hit 1 billion. I'm not going to vote against the Joker now, because I was famously way wrong about the first movie, right? But other than that, dude, I don't see any of these movies like doing super, super well. That's just the way I see it. I think they're all probably going to underperform because I just, there's a lot of sort of ancillary stuff that goes into comic book movies and why people go to see them and follow along with them and all of that. It's never really been just the quality of the movie. That's not the story. So I think that Warner Brothers is about to have a really rough year next year with their box office. When it comes to Star Wars, Star Wars doesn't have any movies. I don't even know if they know how to do those anymore. But having said that, the lineup for Star Wars on Disney Plus is incredibly strong. You've got Ahsoka, you've got Mandalorian 3, maybe you've got Skeleton Crew, you've got Visions 2, you've got Bad Batch Season 2. You got some bangers coming for Star Wars on Disney Plus. And then strangely, when it comes to Marvel, the movies themselves, I don't know. You guys let me know. Are you guys really, really hyped up for the Marvel movies in 2023? Like, how about this? Where's the hype level for the Marvel movies out of 10? Why don't you let me know? Out of 10. Where are you? Where's the hype level? Ant-Man seems cool. 69. Nice. 9 out of 10. 11 out of 10. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So there's still some good bit of hype. But there's like some averagey scores as well. Because you've got Quantumania, which I think is going to be really cool. And, set us up for Kang, set us up for all these different things. Then you've got Guardians 3, which seems really cool, but it's another one of these movies that seems to have its own agenda more than the agenda of the MCU. It's James Gunn's sort of goodbye to the Guardians. It's goodbye to at least some of these Guardians. It's a closing of that trilogy. And I think the movie's going to be really concerned with that. I don't really see it tying into the multiverse stuff and all these different things that much, right? And then there's the Marvels, which to me is this like huge question mark, right? And I'm not sure, man. I hope that a lot of the things that are being said about the movie are not true, because it's just going to end up being a bad time for everybody. I think if the rumors of that movie are true, that is going to be kind of a weird bummery time. But Marvel also has like Secret Invasion. They've got some strong stuff coming on Disney Plus as well. It almost feels like, as I was thinking about this morning, it feels like 2023 is going to be this year where it's like shows and streaming that are really pushing most of the conversation online. And I think it's going to be a weird year for movies and for the box office. And then in 2024, Marvel has essentially a lot of the things that we're hearing about right now and a lot of the stuff that we're going to cover today and, throughout the rest of the year and into next year. These are all things that are going to happen in the MCU in 2024. Most of them are not going to happen in 2023. Like, it's kind of strange. In some ways, 2023 feels like like a pause button kind of a year or something like that. It's, it's kind of interesting. So just kind of wanted to state all of that. But regardless of all of that, man, there's some super hyped up stuff going on for Marvel. Most importantly, and I guess we could just get right into it. Let's talk, and we'll sort of backtrack from here. Let's talk about My Time to Shine. Hello's tweet. Wait. Okay, God damn it, Jen. God damn it, dude. Okay, here we go. Boom. Okay. RDJ is back, baby. For Secret Wars, for sure. And there's been some talks for a cameo in Armor Wars. Okay, very cool. Again, stuff that's not necessarily really surprising. But I, like many of you, have been waiting for somebody established, somebody that's in the know, to actually comment on this. Because as much as we all thought it was going to happen, right? As much as we all speculated about it, and we were like, yeah, no, he's going to come back for Secret Wars. It was starting to feel a little bit like, I don't know, bro. Like, they'd have to back up the money truck. There was even that crazy report. Do you guys remember that report that happened a couple of weeks ago where there was like a Latino actor, this guy that like randomly looks exactly like Robert Downey Jr.? And there were even reports that like that guy was going to play Iron Man if they weren't going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back. Would have felt bad. But yeah, like there was all these questions. And it's good to know that at least in some ways, the Marvel team, the Marvel brand, and their ability to work stuff out with these actors is still very much intact. I mean, Robert Downey Jr., I think one of the reasons there was so much doubt and speculation about him actually coming back is that he's been all the way out. Like, he doesn't really even leverage the Iron Man thing much at all in his social media or anything like that. So, like, you look at a guy like Chris Hemsworth, right? And I think Chris Hemsworth sort of understands and is in the place that he's going to leverage Thor, leverage what he's doing with Marvel for some of his other stuff. And a lot of actors sort of understand this and they understand that game. But Robert Downey Jr., kind of an odd character, and he also made like fucking more money than like LeBron James and more money than like he made so much money throughout the course of the Infinity Saga that, I mean, like, he's good. Like, he doesn't need the money at all. And on top of that, I think that he has literally one of the best arcs of any actor that ever played a character for a long time ever in the history of Hollywood. The Iron Man arc in that 10 years and the I Am Iron Man thing, like, it is literally just this brilliantly crafted, very, very good story arc for a character. I would argue it's even better than Hugh Jackman's arc via Logan. Now, Logan is an incredible movie, a perfect ending for that character, and it's really, really cool. But there wasn't even like a lot of the stuff with Wolverine, even Hugh Jackman Wolverine, doesn't necessarily all fit together to like really make Logan even better. Logan kind of creates its own stakes, its own reasons why it's so good, etc., etc. The Iron Man character, on the other hand, massive amounts of screen time, a pivotal role in many different characters throughout that universe, you know, all these different things, time travel, creating Ultron, stopping Thanos, all of these different things. It's pretty wild. So there were a lot of questions as to whether or not Robert Downey Jr. would come back. I guess the question for me, and I do sort of wonder, scroll down to see the thing. Yeah. This GIF. Arthur loves this gift. It is pretty funny. I'm not sure what I was doing there, but it definitely looks like I was pleasuring myself, which is, you know, great. Wonderful. Thanks, Internet. So, yeah, when it comes to this story, I guess I want to know, like, are you guys surprised? Are you guys shocked? Are you, like, feeling like, oh, thank God? Because I think, to me, the resounding feeling, honestly, is, it's like, shoo, like, I guess is kind of the reaction to me. Like, my reaction is, like, thank God. Because I think that if things with Marvel would continue to get shaky, like let's say in 2024, okay, and then it were to come out that Robert Downey Jr. is actually not returning for Secret Wars, I feel like that's a huge L, dude. And I feel like that would be devastating to Marvel, especially because, you know, the promise of Secret Wars, like Secret Wars is supposed to be this big, holy grail, absolutely incredible celebration of all the dopest shit. And if you can't even get your big gun back, the main draw, the main attraction back, and you're going to fill it with all this other stuff like the Fox stuff and all that, I would argue none of that matters if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't come back. That's what I would say. I would say none of that matters unless Robert Downey Jr. comes back. He's the godfather of the MCU. That impact is huge. That impact is huge. And I just don't think it works unless you get him. Okay, so I think that's sort of the main point. It's like, okay, thank God, like we got it solved. Now, the other aspect of this is really interesting, and there's actually two aspects of it, because there's something beyond what My Time to Shine is talking about here that I think is actually possible as well. And I think that'll really blow some friggin' people's hairs back. I'm talking about your butt hairs too. This is gonna be crazy, okay? So let's talk about Armor Wars. Armor Wars. Robert Downey Jr. cameos in Armor Wars. Are we positive on that? Are we negative on that? Do we like that idea? Do we not like that idea? In fact, I'm going to open up a whole Q&A just for this, because I really want to know what you guys think. What do you think of RDJ in Armor Wars? I want to know. Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Because I could see this going in a couple of different ways for the fans, right? Are you guys answering the Q&A? Okay, there you go. Okay, here we go. The more RDJ, the merrier, says Sozin. Okay, Jackson says, I think it's a good idea to keep people excited for the future. Okay, nice. Won't like him to come back in the flesh, but as an AI, that would be sick. I'd love to see him as an AI for sure. I think it would be a great idea if written well. True. I think it should be AI cameo only. Okay. I think it takes away from his return in Secret Wars. That's a fair point. Too soon. If it's a blue hologram AI, it's cool. If that progresses to Secret Wars, where the AI sees an alternate multiverse version RDJ on RDJ convo, that would be kind of wild, yeah. I think the only reason to have it is that Armor Wars is so bad they need RDJ to bail it out. That's an interesting idea. We can get into that a little bit more. What would be the purpose? I'm not sure. AI is the only sensible option. It would just use old footage and stuff. Okay. Let's see here. Flashback. It's possible. Cap and Iron Man are essential to the MCU success. Bad call getting rid of those two. I tend to agree. It feels like Superman and Black Adam, the big cameo to sell tickets. Fair. I would love it. Haters can suck it. Andrew Tate is Doctor Doom. That's not what we're talking about here. I think it takes away from Dawn's chance to shine. That's an interesting point. Okay, so let's get into some of this stuff. Let's start with that Don Cheadle's chance to shine argument, because I've seen this online a lot, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't like this take. I don't like it because some characters, man, are just not A-list comic book characters. Some comic book characters are not interesting enough to carry their own book. Some characters are just background characters. They're sidekicks. That's what they are. And I think that sometimes we make the mistake of being like, oh, well, this character that never got shine, it's possible to do all these different things to that character to like give them the oomph or give them the shine. And I just don't know if that's actually the case, or if that's like this sort of weird, like bean counter, like looking at stats, looking at screen time, thinking in terms of a meritocracy or something, or equity when it comes to characters. And I just don't agree that, like, that's not how you tell stories. That's not like what you do with characters and actors. And this idea that like you can't have Robert Downey Jr. in Armor Wars because it will take away from Don Cheadle is crazy, in my opinion. Now, I do think that they could actually expand on the character of Rhodes and make him more interesting, add some more depth there. But I honestly think that the film would be served to bring in Robert Downey Jr., to have Robert Downey Jr.'s presence, you know, maybe it's AI, maybe it's something else, I think could be really, really interesting. So, I don't know, man. That's, to me, that speaks a little bit of, like, in the WandaVision thing where Feige was like, well, we didn't want Doctor Strange to just come in and overshadow Wanda. I'm like, that's stupid. Like, create a character arc or create a story in which both of them are there. They're both serving the story, and you can still create a story in which Wanda does her thing. You know what I mean? So for me, like, I don't know. I don't like that argument, right? Where people are like, yo, this is going to take away from Rhodey. It's like, dude, honestly, low-key, I don't give a fuck about Rhodey. Like, I don't. Like, it's an interesting character, but, like, I'm in it because I love the superheroes, the genre, the excitement of the characters, the bombastic fun that can be had. Like, there's a bunch of dope stuff that Rhodey does in the MCU that's cool, but he's not that guy, dude. There was a reason he's not getting like $50 million a movie. He's not that guy. And Cheadle's an incredible actor. I mean, dude, if you've ever watched like a lot of Don Cheadle's stuff, like, you'll know, like, that's that guy. He's incredible in a lot of different ways. But he's not Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Like, that's just not what it is. And Robert Downey Jr., by the way, perfect casting for the Tony Stark character. But Tony Stark is such an interesting character that I actually think there were a lot of people that could have chewed up the scenery or had that guy be so fascinating. Like, Tony is a fascinating character. And it's like his attitude, his ego, his intellect, all of these different things create like a really, really interesting character. Like, to be honest with you, like, Reed Richards isn't even close to as interesting as Tony Stark. And Reed Richards is smarter than Tony Stark. You know what I mean? In many ways, better than Tony Stark. But he's way less interesting, right? It's like Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson. Like, Sam Wilson, cool character. Dude, there's no fucking way he's as interesting as the first actual super soldier that fought against Hitler, was lost in time, and come back into the modern world. That's, you know why people like Captain America? Because that's really fucking interesting. There's nothing interesting about Sam, at least nothing that compares to that, right? So I think, like, sometimes, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like we're doing all these weird like measurings and judgment calls, and I don't think it's that deep, bro. Like, Iron Man is the tits, and it'll be awesome to have him back. So that's kind of the first part of it. Now, the second part that I want to kind of get into, and I'll end the Q&A, though. I do appreciate hearing people's different takes and whatnot on it. And it's nothing, honestly, it's nothing against you if you have that take, because I know, like, some people they view their content differently, and they have different things that they consider, different ways that they enjoy it, and that's totally cool. But for me, it's like, nah, miss me with that. That's not what it is. Let's talk about the AI stuff and if this ruins him coming back for Secret Wars. And here's sort of my take on this. If it's simply that Tony is back as an AI and there's no deeper meaning or connection behind it, then yes, I do feel as though it does a disservice to Secret Wars. Because if he pops up, like, if he's involved in this movie, what it will mean is Tony Stark, or rather Robert Downey Jr., doing press for Armor Wars, unless they're going to try to hide that he's in it. So you want the first coming back of this almost Masonic type of comic book character, and you want it to be in the Armor Wars project that was going to be a show that's now a movie, and he's like AI, right? So that's, I mean, I don't know if I like that. Okay, I don't know if I like that. However, we know very little about Armor Wars, And if Armor Wars has this like really deep fucking connection to Kang, time travel, and what's happening next with Marvel, then I think putting Robert Downey Jr. into that film is really intelligent. It's like a really good way to sort of set audiences up for the idea that there is this sort of big, deep connection and that Tony will be likely brought back because of that connection or something like that, right? So there's all sort of stuff they could do. If Tony figured out time travel, I wonder if there's anything he did in Endgame that he didn't share with the other Avengers. I mean, that would kind of make sense. That's kind of a Tony thing to do, is to just do your own thing and work on your own thing. And I wonder if there's anything that he saw in the future, or if there'll be anything that sort of happens next around the next two Avenger movies that can be linked back to Endgame. Because I think that would be really, really freaking cool. I even sort of low-key wonder if he gave some kind of mission to Cap, or if him and Captain America had some kind of backup plan after the time travel because they knew this other consequence or something like that was happening. I think that could be really, really interesting. So I think the talks of him cameoing in Armor Wars, it's like a weird double-edged sword, because on the one hand, I want it to be significant enough to matter, to give emphasis to what happens next. Like, I want it to feel like it matters, because the way in which Tony was like dreaming or having visions of like Thanos and like Thanos-related stuff, even since the first Avengers movie, ends up really paying off. And then like Thanos knowing who Tony is, like, that's really interesting. And I do wonder if there'll be like some of that magic and stuff that happens in for Secret Wars. So I think all of that kind of stuff is it's fair, some of the trepidation, like it's fair, some of the commentary on it. But at the end of the day, like, if the ideas are there and there's something more to it than like just bring Tony back, right? Because like, yeah, bringing Tony back, of course, interesting, cool, fun, but there has to be like a well thought out plan and something to make it really, really matter. Now, here's the other side of this that I think is actually even more interesting, and I'm pretty curious as to how people feel about all of that, right? I actually am beginning to think that it is possible that Robert Downey Jr. is going to come back not just for Armor Wars and Secret Wars, but literally permanently come back. Like, literally, after Secret Wars, Iron Man is just back in the MCU. Yeah. What do you guys think? You think so? You think it's possible? You think, hell no, they would never do that? Yeah, a lot of people doubt it, right? So let me ask you this. Why do you doubt it? Like, why do you doubt it? Why do you think they wouldn't do that? I think you're nuts, bruh. Maybe I am. Why do you doubt it? Because he's getting old? Bro, they are literally bringing back Harrison Ford to play young Indiana Jones. Not Indiana Jones. Young fucking Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford, who's literally Father Time, is now going to be Red Hulk in the MCU. What do you mean he's too old? He's pushing 60. Bro, what are we talking about here? The guy that wears pajamas on set and goes in to shoot HUD scenes? He's too old to do that. He's too old? He's too old. Okay, why else do you think it's not going to happen? I don't think RDJ would come back permanently. I don't think he wants it. So here's the thing. if they, in my opinion, because I understand that, and if he really doesn't want to do it, that's totally cool. He doesn't want to do it, okay? But why do you think he'd be willing to come back at all and not be willing to explore being back in a more permanent way? Like, I kind of have trouble believing and thinking that he would come back at all. And then, but also not be open to coming back in a more permanent way. AI has a good answer. What did AI say? Having fun and making a cameo isn't the same as being back at that role in a big way. Well, here's what I would argue, Moss. Here's what I would say. Iron Man being back does not necessarily mean that Robert Downey Jr. has to return to the way he was used in the Infinity Saga. And to be honest with you, I don't think Marvel would really want that either, because they'd have to pay him a shit-toad boatload, fucking way too much money every single time. So you could have Tony Stark back, have Iron Man still be in certain movies and in Avengers movies. And I think the most important thing for me moving forward is like to have Tony Stark, Reed Richards, the X-Men, like a lot of these fun things all back. It would kind of feel empty. From a comic book perspective, it would feel a little weird to just not have Tony Stark in that mix. And so I actually see a scenario in which they do bring Tony back and they keep him. They don't necessarily put him in every single movie, but Stark Industries, the Avengers, you know, perhaps Robert Downey Jr. is used in a kind of interesting way moving past this for the next saga. Because I think they've got a lot of fun toys that they're going to be playing with in, you know, past Secret Wars. It seems like they're going to do Eternals versus Mutants and all these really awesome, interesting things. But, like, Tony Stark is smack dead in the center of Judgment Day. Tony Stark is creating, like, celestial-type armor and doing all this crazy stuff in comics. And if Marvel, like, it's weird to think about the fact that they paid this dude so much money, but then if you go back and think about the money they were making at the time and look at what's happening right now, I don't know. I think there's an argument to be made that it's like, dude, bring him back permanently, dude. And by the way, permanently isn't even permanent, because they could, you know, kill him again. They could have something else happen down the line or whatever. But I personally think, well, let me ask you this. Marvel down bad? What do you mean, Bismo? What do you mean? Let me ask you guys this. Do you think Kevin Feige would want Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man permanently? Do you think that's something that maybe Kevin Feige would be interested in? So I'm surprised at the people that are saying no. I am actually shocked that so many of you think that that's something that Feige would not want. I don't know, bro. It's a cool idea, but seems they're scrambling a bit with lower box offices. They're definitely scrambling. I don't think it's completely because of the box office, though. I think the box office, especially for like last year, was still pretty respectable. Not breaking into the $1 billion club, though, that's got to hurt. And I think a lot of their shows are pretty shaky. And I think Marvel is in fear a little bit that, they're fatiguing their audience, that they're not... At the end of the day, you know what it is? They're just not blowing us away anymore. Like, Phase 4 just wasn't mind-blowing enough. Like, you get after Infinity War and Endgame, bro, and it's just like, dude, none of that shit's mind-blowing enough. And that's why, like, you hear about the 2024 projects, you hear about Thunderbolts, you hear about fucking Captain America 4, and you're just like, dude, They're throwing every goddamn thing they possibly can. Are you kidding me? President Red Hulk, some of the other stuff that's going on. We're going to talk, we'll talk more about these leaks in a second here, okay? But like, you're talking about maybe Liv Tyler coming back to play Red Hulk's daughter and possibly being Red She-Hulk, bro. You're talking about Lyra, the Savage She-Hulk from an alternate dimension, the daughter of Thundra and Hulk coming back into our timeline. You're talking about, like, you're throwing all the craziest fucking shit. Adamantium, Sleeping Celestial, all these different things. You're telling me that Chef Feige throwing in all this shit into the thing, and he doesn't want to throw in a little Robert Downey Jr.? Dude, I bet Kevin Feige would literally, he especially now that Iger's back and we're not on Cheapex check anymore, I bet there have already been discussions where Kevin Feige said, you know what I could really use post Secret Wars? Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man. I'm going to put my flag in the ground right now. I'm going to tell you right now, I predict Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, back permanently. And that's not like permanently, but you know what I'm saying. I think he comes back to life after Secret Wars. I mean, Paul's saying, you guys know Paul from Heavy Spoilers? By the way, his kids, I didn't want to say anything, but he posted a picture of his kids. Whew. We don't make fun of people's appearances here. But those kids, they got some face on them. That's all I'll say. So Paul from Heavy Spoilers says that he thinks, and he's hearing, that they're going to streamline the MCU after Secret Wars. Potentially bring in Fox X-Men characters permanently. Potentially bring in Tom Hardy Venom permanently. Okay? So you're telling me we're doing all that. Oh, you guys haven't seen the picture of the kids? You haven't seen the... Let me see. Should I show you the picture? I'm not... You'll understand if you see it. Some of you out there probably right now are like, you're a monster. You're a monster talking about somebody else's kids. Look, I'll show you. Okay? Again, I'm not trying to, babies are and they may not even grow up looking like this. Babies change or whatever over time and everything, but I mean, holy shit. Oh, man. So, it's tough. That's a tough one. But, it's all good. Maybe they'll grow out of it, Maybe they'll grow out of it. Okay, anyway, so yeah, it could be the case that they're streamlining the entire MCU and doing all kinds of crazy stuff after Secret Wars. I just think if you're really going to do all that kind of craziness, you're telling me Robert Downey Jr. coming back is not on the table? I mean, Tony, to Mazmaz's point, Downey, maybe he's not down. Like, maybe he wants to do all these other things. But you know what I bet he likes? Like a steady 30, 40, 50 mil a year for barely any work. And he could throw that towards the other actors. He could throw that towards his research. He could throw that towards trying to get everybody to eat fucking bugs or whatever other weird shit he's doing these days. He can have the cheddar to go do philanthropy, but you got to be making the cheddar to get the fucking philanthropy done. So, I don't know, man. I see a world in which it could happen. Regardless of all of that, let's talk about the other crazy stuff that's going on. Let's talk about some of this other crazy stuff that's going on. What the hell? Okay, Liv Tyler in talks to come back as Betty Ross. Oh, hell yeah, bro. I thought she was great as Betty Ross. And if she really does Red She-Hulk, which I don't know if she hints at this here in the comments, but somebody said it's possible. Like, it's hard because sometimes people take what these scoopers say and then they run with it in, like, speculation, but they'll put it in articles and whatnot, right? But I think somebody else might be talking about how she could come back as Red She-Hulk or whatever, right? But Liv Tyler's great, man. Betty! And so I think it would be awesome if she came back. I think that would be absolutely sick, especially if, like, she's the daughter. She's the first daughter. And you have President Harrison Ford Red Hulk. I mean, come on. Come on. And Tim Blake Nelson coming back as the leader. It's awesome. Super cool stuff. So that's pretty freaking hype. This one kind of flew under the radar a little bit. We could talk about this. Ben Affleck had talks with Marvel Studios to play Dario Agger in an upcoming project. Pretty interesting, man. Some people think this could be connected to World War Hulk, actually. I'm not really sure, like, how that could all work towards it, but Dario Agger, definitely an interesting character. And one would wonder, I mean, they'd have to do some really cool stuff with him. It's so weird that, like, Affleck would be down to be the fucking Minotaur. Like, come on, man. Like, just make him Doctor Doom. I think that would be absolutely incredible, Ben Affleck as Doctor Doom. But if he's having talk for Dario, it likely means they have some big ideas for Dario. So maybe it'll be super awesome. I also think it's cool because he's talking to them about multiple roles. Like, we've talked about this before, but a lot of people, when they talk to Marvel, it's multiple different roles that they're looking at. So maybe there's still hope that he would be Doom. But yeah, I mean, crazy, bro. Crazy. Yeah. Here's one that's also really interesting. Oh, shit. You're not even seeing it here. Jessica Chastain being eyed to play the main villain in Captain America New World Order. And Charles Murphy was sort of hinting that this could be Lyra. Now, this is going to get real fucking weird real fast. But how many of you guys know about Lyra? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Is it Lyja? Is it not Lyra? You lying? Is it Lyja? The Savage She-Hulk. Let me get this pulled up. Yeah, it's Lyra. Lyra. This person. How many know of this character? She's born in the future where there's an ongoing war between the sexes. She literally comes from a place in time where there's literally a gender war. It's fucking crazy, dude. It's crazy. There's literally a gender war where the men and the women literally just fight each other in the far future, okay? And then on top of that, she keeps coming back and getting DNA of some of the most alpha and savage humans that exist. Like, she goes for Hulk, she goes for Sentry, she goes for Norman Osborn. In a really weird, for whatever reason, she goes for Norman Osborn. And she's literally grabbing these people's DNA, taking them to the far future, and, like, repopulating the female population with them. Okay. So this is maybe one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever heard of. Especially considering the fact that this character may well be the main villain of the fucking next Captain America movie. The main villain of the next Captain America movie comes from a future where there's literally a fucking gender war. And she's the biological daughter of the Hulk. So you're telling me they're willing to do this shit and they're not going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back permanently? Now, let's talk about this. I stayed up. I know, right? I thought about that too. Yeah, apparently Grace hates Chastain. Yeah, true. Yeah. Okay. So I thought about this way too much over the past couple of days. I laid in bed staring at the ceiling saying, "Why, Feige? Why?" First, you have Jennifer Walters shitting on Bruce, telling him he doesn't know shit, and she's a better She-Hulk because she's a woman. Right to Bruce's fucking face. The only character in the MCU confirmed to try to commit suicide. Jesus Christ. And so, first you have that. And now you've got Lyra. But I thought about something. Hold on. Hold on. Hold it. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Because then I thought about something. And I thought about Jennifer Walters, who... Throw a 1 into the chat if you have a positive feeling, if you really like the character of Jennifer Walters as she has been introduced thus far. Just let me know, Jennifer Walters fans. How many of you guys are super hyped up about Jennifer Walters in the MCU? You love it. You love Jennifer Walters in the MCU. You fucking love it. Get all these people that put 1 and get them out of the fucking chat. Are you kidding me? So here's the thing. What if they're doing Lyra to literally try to make more people like Jennifer Walters? Follow me on this. Follow me. Right now, when a lot of people think of Jennifer Walters, they think cringy feminist rant. Out of touch, MCU, woke, whatever. Well, what if they bring in this other character that is literally from a time when they war on men, an actual gender conflict, a gender war? Well, Jennifer Walters all of a sudden seems pretty fucking tame by comparison. And in fact, you could have Jennifer Walters actually bring Lyra down a few notches. And you have all these scenes with Jennifer Walters saying stuff like, well, look, yes, men are gross, but no, we don't actually want to go to war with them. We need to be able to get along. And so I'm wondering, is that the logic? Are they trying to bring in a character, another She-Hulk, that is going to be so over the top everything that we now think of Jennifer, that Jennifer will be tamed by comparison? And then we'll like Jen a little bit more? Yeah, soften her up, make her image a little bit better with the nerds? What do you think? That's when a quarter of the fan base checks out. I mean, we'll see. She's going to teach Lyra how to twerk. Oh, God. Not a good look. Jump the shark? Nah. Calling it none of this will. So now you see why Robert Downey Jr. needs to come back. Now are you fucking understanding? Now do you get it a little bit more? Oh, I don't see it. Oh, by the way, let me tell you about Lyra. Bring him back! Holy shit! Bring him back! Do you see what I'm saying? Are we now on the same page? Yeah. Yeah. Terrible logic. Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Sorry, I'm just trying to do my best up here. Jeez. So that's pretty interesting. Again, super curious as to how the fuck that's going to work. Interesting. Okay, and then apparently Quake is coming back as well. So there you have it. That's kind of some of the spicy news. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the juice. Oh, okay, here's a couple other things. Silver Surfer is a movie. That's sick. Nova is going to be a movie, not a series or a special. That's fucking sick. Eternals 2 will be Judgment Day. We talked about that a little bit. So, yeah. All right, we'll call it there. We'll call it there when it comes to the news. I'm super curious as to what you guys all think about all of this crazy stuff. Yeah, Chloe Bennett's coming back. Yeah, Chloe Bennett's coming back. Yeah. I like Quake. She's gorgeous. Yeah, she's a good looking gal. For show. She's no Jessica Chastain Lyra, though, am I right? Okay, should we just break into some Q&A? And also, too, I am working on more videos. I know that the last video is doing well. People seem to like the last one. And I've got some other things. I want to do a Star Wars video talking about crazy stuff that's going on in Ahsoka. Ahsoka just seems nuts. And I want to kind of just give an extensive take on that. Got some ideas about some videos about Kang coming up. So definitely have some dope videos coming to you guys soon. But it's also just the holiday time. Kind of lingering, lagging a little bit. Just kind of chilling. So maybe Lyra looking for some penis. Well, she doesn't even get it on like that, bro. She just takes the DNA. Like, she was making out with Bruce, and she was just, like, grabbing his DNA, like. And then she scooped up some of his DNA and then made more babies that way. So they don't even have fun with it, you know? I've been playing the new Pokemon game yet? Nah, bro, I haven't played the fucking new Pokemon game much at all. I'm barely out of the starting zone. I actually started a whole new game last night. I started playing a new Warhammer game. And it's fucking really fun. I was getting my ass kicked for a couple hours, and then I had to restart the game after I learned stuff. No, I don't think that's the 100K scoop. Yeah. I don't think that's a 100K scoop. But it was a super fun game. I actually saw Angry Joe playing it. It's called Chaos Gate or some bullshit. What's it called? Warhammer Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, I think is what it's called. It's really fun. So, she's going to grab him by the DNA. Hey, you don't say that. Yeah, definitely, Bulldog. I will get into that, brother, and I really appreciate the support. Let's get into all the super chats and member chats, though. Oh my god, I fucked it up. I'm sorry. I fucked it up. The member chats are... They'll come through now, but if you sent one earlier, I'm not going to be able to find it, and that is on me. I am sorry. My bad. What do you want me to say? I fucked it up, bro. Okay, I fucked it up. All right? It's the holidays. You don't say that. Don't be mad at me. It's going to be fine. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. Everybody relax! Okay, holy shit! Look at all those ones. What were the ones for again? If you like Jennifer Walter? Get his DNA! Okay, look, I'll start with the first one in today from Al Patrickson. Says, I would have preferred Tom Cruise's Iron Man in Secret Wars, as I feel using RDJ's Marvel Studios being afraid to move forward. Maybe we'll still get him. Ah, man, this one is so hard for me. Like, I am sorry, guys, but as somebody who's been reading comics for, like, a while, they always come back. They always come back, bro. I remember Superior Spider-Man. I remember Dan Slott lying to our fucking faces for 2 years straight, saying Peter is never coming back. He is gone forever. It's now Doc Ock Spider-Man. Get over it. I remember him shoving little kids out of his way at Comic-Cons, dunking them in trash cans, you know, having a cup filled with Spider-Man, Peter Parker fan tears. I remember all of that shit. And then, of course, they bring him back. I remember Wolverine dying in a really fucking awesome run, by the way. It was really cool. And then he gets put in adamantium permanently, except it's not permanently. And 2 years later, he's back in comics. That's the way it is. I remember Civil War 2. Tony Stark's dead. Oh, my God. But he's back as an AI with the Ironheart and all these different things. And guess what? He's back and fucking better than ever. That's what it is. It's comics, bro. They always come back. They always come back. You're telling me you want the Avengers without Chris Evans and without Robert Downey Jr. And Chris Evans is a little bit more of an interesting thing. I feel like they fucked themselves, put themselves in a really awkward situation, just like they did in the comics, because now they can't just bring Steve back. Bucky was Cap for a long time. Nobody thought it was a big deal. Steve comes back. Bucky's not Cap anymore. It's not a big deal. But now, because of Sam and because of the racial stuff that they put into the story, it's going to feel hella bad if Steve Rogers comes back and takes the shield. He's probably not going to do that. But even that, or even with all of that, you can still have Steve Rogers back. I mean, one of the most badass parts of the Hickman Avengers was when Steve Rogers gets his memories back and he realizes the fucking Illuminati kicked him out, took his memories, and have been hiding this shit from everybody. And then he goes on a full-scale war as grumpy-ass old man Steve Rogers. Falcon was still Cap at this time. And Steve Rogers was still leading the Avengers to try to take down the Illuminati. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Like, bro, they always come back. Anyway, that's only the first one. I'm going to have to try to calm down. The Exodus says, having Sam and Rhodey come together versus Kang, opposite of how their torchbearers rifted against Thanos, could add some juice to the dry successors. There's all sorts of ways they could add juice to the successors, but I'm also just not going to pretend that certain characters are as interesting as other characters. Like, why are we doing that? Like, why are we just going to act like this character is way more interesting and awesome than that character? It's like, dude, no, they're not. And that should be okay. Jackson Henry says, it ruins the stakes. Bringing him back ruins the concept of death, and all stakes from every character is gone. Dragon Ball effect. Okay, but here's the thing. They were never there. The stakes were never there. It's comics. You know what else is really interesting? Let me talk about this. This is actually kind of a unique and interesting idea. There was a moment in comics where they did try to change that. It was during one of the big Thanos events. It was Peter David, and he created this scenario in which there would be no resurrections. Death was permanent in comics if you died. And I think it's even connected to the Timeless saga. And so it's possible that Marvel Studios could do a thing where they go into the Timeless saga and then death is permanent for a while. But even in comics, they retconned that. They were like, oh, yeah, no, that sucks. We don't want to do that. And so instead they changed it, and so now all the characters come back. It's just comics, dude. Like, they always die. They always come back. It's comics. So I don't know if I can agree that it's like the stakes thing. And yeah, like, you know, you have the Dragon Ball effect. And yeah, I think that's fair with the Dragon Balls. But I think then it's on the writer to continue to make it interesting and give stakes. Like, one of the things they did in Dragon Ball that had real stakes was when Vegeta, who was dead, was fighting against Majin Buu. And if he died while he was an angel or whatever with the halo, then he would have been wiped from existence. He couldn't come back from that. And so they found a way to, like, you know, put the stakes in at that point. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Trev says, what's your take on Marvel trends right now versus a few years ago? Compare that to the trending of the sequel trilogy and how you viewed those trends. Yeah, so I think the main thing, and I'm not exactly sure the logic that you're trying to get to, but I mean, I feel like if anybody's been trying to sound the alarm bell when it comes to Marvel, it's been me. I'm not a hater, and so I'm not sitting like here saying like MCU, it's all over, it ended after Endgame. I'm not using any of that verbiage, but I feel as though I've been pretty fucking consistent since WandaVision on talking about how I don't like things, how this is really not perfectly fitting together, and especially over the course of last year, or rather this year, I've been talking a lot about how Marvel needs to change, and Marvel is going into some really scary territory. And you know, even at the beginning of this stream, when I was trying to talk about how the movies in 2023 do not seem like this is not the slate of movies that we need at this time. With the brand on shaky ground, with fatigue starting to set in, I feel like this is the wrong set of movies for 2023. Having said all of that, though, the biggest difference between Marvel and Star Wars is that Marvel has the greatest producer of all time that has already shown that he can weave his way out of bad situations. The beginning of Phase 2 is whack, bro. And then they adjust, and Phase 3 is fucking phenomenal. So you gotta let him cook. You gotta let him cook, dude. And all the shit we're talking about, Thunderbolts, all of this stuff is new stuff. This is Feige coming in and being like, no, more. Now, we have to see how it's executed, but at the end of the day, I do have faith that Marvel is going to be able to figure out, read the room, and adjust. But here's the flip side of that. And yes, Anthony, welcome to the Nerd Ventures. You are a Nerd Venger now. Make your way around the tower. Here's the other flip side of that. This is also why I'm so concerned about the Marvels. Because the Marvels... if the Marvels is as bad as I think it might be, then that could be very damaging. Like, that could be very damaging. Because we're not quite over it. We haven't quite turned the corner. And it's like we could be looking down the pipeline at 2024 and being like, bro, this shit's looking amazing. And then the Marvels could come in at just that right time when a lot of people are sort of feeling whatever way. And then it breaks them. And it makes them not enthused. They don't go check it out. I mean, look at Andor. You know, as much as I don't like Andor, Andor is a very competent, well-made show, arguably way better than a lot of the other Star Wars things this year. Why did nobody watch it? Because they were so disgusted with all the other shit, bro. Not everybody, of course, but most average people who are the people that, frankly, don't even watch channels like mine and that just consume content in a very general audience sort of way, they were checked out. That's the only explanation. What's the other explanation for Andor not doing well? So my fear is that the Marvels could come in and be so bad at just the right or wrong time that it could turn people off to a lot of what's coming further down the line. Like, I'm legit concerned about the Marvels. Not just because I won't like it, but because of the damage it could potentially do for the brand. So I don't know if that answers your question. And honestly, I'm just rambling in every question I read today. I'm just then rambling and going on my own thing. So here we go again. Jamro says, if they're gonna bring back Tony, bring back Obadiah Stane. I mean, yeah, bring back Obadiah Stane. I think that'd be cool. I think that would be cool. Brightburns 1985, thank you for the $1. Dirt Wizard, thanks for the 10 spot, brother. Says, great show today. If Tony comes back permanently starting in Secret Wars, would he be the only one who remembers Peter as Spider-Man? That would be cool. Have a great day. Yeah, I think he would be exempt to that because he was dead. He wasn't like in the universe. He wasn't on Earth. He was dead. So yeah, I think he'd be exempt to that. And I think he would remember Peter. And I think he has to remember Peter in order to pay off that thing. Because Peter's like his own man now. And it would be so cool to see Tony and Peter interacting now that Peter's his own man. That'd be really cool. Matthew says, I meant 2022 epic fail. I don't know what you're I'm sorry, I'm missing the context on that. Colt Cuppet, the 10 spot, says, idea. Adamant brings the mutants out of hiding. They move to Krakoa pre-Infinity Saga via Project Exodus. Mutant Saga will be a mix of prequels before Exodus and present-day House of X type content. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with the X-Men. I saw a lot of people already getting upset at the idea of doing Judgment Day before they do Avengers vs. X-Men. But like all things Marvel, just because they're using the word Judgment Day and using some concepts, it doesn't mean they won't use others. So I'm super curious to see what they do with the X-Men. You know, and yeah, maybe they're going to take some stuff from Hickman's run. I would hope so. It's incredible. So let's have to wait and see. I would also like to see how Tony Stark views all of that, and I hope he's back permanently. Brandon says with a 10 spot, will we get to see Lyra, Jennifer Walters, and Red She-Hulk twerk? Yeah, all of them right in a row. Twerking in Bruce's face. And then that's what causes him to finally snap and go back into Savage Hulk, and that's how we get World War Hulk. So he's just sitting there, and it's like this slow zoom in on him, and they're all just shaking their cakes, you know, plugging their OnlyFans and all that kind of stuff. And then he's just like, I've had enough! And then he fucking, I mean, come on. That'd be kind of cool, huh? Be kind of fun. David says, do you think RDJ will play as an Earth 838 variant? I think he would, and I think that would be sick as fuck. But yeah, I'm just not. I don't know. The Bulldog Show /gaming says, what are your predictions for Marvel going forward? Will it be a win or a flop? I'm just curious what you think. Yeah, so I think Guardians will do really well. I think Quantumania will do really well. I'm really curious how the Marvels does. I think Secret Invasion will do well as a show. X-Men 97 will pop really well. Curious about Echo. We'll see how that works. What are the other shows coming out next year for Marvel? Because, like, I'm actually pumped that they're moving away from a lot of the Disney Plus shows, or at least, like, when it comes to something like Daredevil, giving it, like, a whole year and a lot of thought. Like, that's the move. And honestly, like, you don't even need the Echo show. You could have just put Echo into the Daredevil show, and it probably would have been fine. Like, this idea that every one of these characters that, again, are frankly not that interesting, deserve their own show, their movie, whatever. It's crazy, dude. Like, the Silver Surfer, absolutely. Not just because of the character of Norrin Radd, but because of the way that you could lens a show around a character like that. Dude, imagine making a deal with Galactus to save your own planet, offering yourself up as tribute, and you become the herald to Galactus, and you spend your life trying to find planets that are less populated than others to minimize the damage that an entity like Galactus uses. And then imagine you're a deaf person that's missing a leg, and your dad worked for the Kingpin. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? We're acting like that is the same thing as that? No! No! Holy shit. Okay, anyway. Hang on, let me refresh. We got a couple more coming in. Michael Dixon, thanks for the 2-spot. Jackson Henry says, well, personally, I thought comics are dumb for that. Okay, bro. Right on. The Exodus says, imagine 838 Illuminati was the 616 Steve imprisoned. Oh, dude, that would be sick. That's a great idea. I like that. Infection Gaming says, so I'm super curious if you've had any news on who's going to be taking KK's position. No, I know nothing about that. I know nothing about that. As soon as I know something, I'll let you know. Matthew K says, top nerd stories of 2022. I think Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine is probably the biggest nerdy story. I would argue the Warhammer story is huge. Obviously, James Gunn, DC, huge. I think Harrison Ford Red Hulk is huge. What else? Oh, all the next Star Wars movies being sequel trilogy movies, which nobody's going to believe me on until they're all officially announced, is huge. Yeah, I think those are the biggest ones. Anthony says, infamous Iron Man run to bring Tony and Doom back. I mean, that would be incredible, but we need Doom established first before that something like that will work. But hell yeah, man. I would love it. Nico James says, where does Nova and Howard the Duck fit into the Avengers? Well, they're not really Avengers, so they wouldn't really fit into that. I think Nova is at one time an Avenger. But, yeah, they're more involved in, like, cosmic level stories. So they might even be better served in, like, a Judgment Day type setting or something like that, you know? And then Michael Gurecki says, hyped for Quake. Yeah, Quake's cool, man. Quake is cool. I'm excited to see Quake back at it, too. Hello, Josh. Hello, Chat R2R OT33R. RDJ come back as superior Iron Man. Do you think Cavill will be worked into the MCU? I think that would be sick. It would just kind of depend. Depend on his schedule, depend on what the character was or whatever. I think we'll have to... I think it's a big time wait and see with Cavill. I mean, I would personally hope that he just does the Warhammer stuff, because I do think that will take an incredible amount of time and energy, right? So... yeah. I don't know now if he's doing Warhammer and James Bond, of course. Yeah, it's a little tricky. It just kind of depends on how involved he's going to be in that Warhammer stuff. How much money are they spending on that? You know? Cavill as Cyclops? I could see it. Hey, what up, Kiwi? I have a theory on Deadpool 3. I think it's already been decided it's going to be PG-13 instead of R. So to appease the fans, we need Hugh Jackman member berries. Hope I'm wrong, but it's Disney. Could be. I want Doctor Doom to be the next character advancing armors over RDJ. Like I said earlier, Doom making celestial armor would be pretty awesome. That would be awesome. I just think, like, that was a kind of a cool part in the comics where Doom is messing with the Iron Man armor and, like, making all those corrections and things of that nature. But the big thing with Doom is that his armor is not just technology, it's magic. So he's, like, using technology to enhance the magic, using the magic to enhance the technology. It's legitimately better than Tony's armor. Like, Tony's always trying to, like, specialize and, you know, tinker and make adjustments and all of these different things. You know, and Doom does as well, but, like, Doom's armor, like, that armor that he has, it's essentially perfect. And even if it's not perfect, Doom has such an ego that he's like, no, I made it perfect the first time. You know what I mean? Feige said Deadpool 3 is rated R a while back, didn't he? Yeah, he may have. I don't know if he's... I can't really recall, to be honest with you. Can I buy stock in Warhammer? Cavill's going to blow this shit up. I think you could buy stock in Games Workshop. I don't know if they're publicly traded or not. I also heard some people in the Warhammer community talking about how it's possible... It is possible that Amazon would just buy Games Workshop. Like, if this Warhammer thing works out for them, they could just buy Games Workshop. And then they would do the game, all the other... They would just own the license themselves. They could just do anything they wanted from there, you know? Did Josh say, magic? No, they actually do have the rights. There was a story that came out after we talked about it. Amazon confirmed that they have the rights. And they probably paid pretty good money for him. You know? Yeah. I'll tell y'all what not to buy. Disney stonks. Well, at this point, it's probably a good buy, though, because isn't it down, like, incredibly? Scamazon can buy Games Workshop like 4 times over. Probably like 8 times over, to be honest. Love you too, Bismo. Hope you're doing all right, man. You guys all doing okay? Holiday time, getting over the storm and all that. Everybody's chilling. Everybody's still having fun. I have a feeling you're tired of my comic books are dumb, bringing back dead characters takes. No, it's not that I'm tired of it. It's just like, look, that is a big thing in comics. It would be like not liking that anime or manga continuously has power-ups for characters. It just seems like you dislike something so fundamental to the medium that it's like just so it's a fringe take and I can't really do anything with it. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, you can have it. That's cool. It's fine. Maybe there are some comics that you like more. Like maybe The Walking Dead is more your jam, even though they did bring back a couple people in The Walking Dead as well. So that would so cheapen Tony's sacrifice. I don't think so. It's not like he's sacrificed himself knowing he would come back. The characters themselves don't know they're immortal. The stakes are still there. And the world suffers. And there's no Tony. Like, it's not like he just came back the next movie. Holy shit. Games Workshop? Well, what's the market cap on Games Workshop, though? Because, like, yeah, that's a good stock price, but what's the market cap? Any chance Steve Rogers comes back as the moniker of Nomad? That is possible. That is possible. Resurrection isn't integral to the storytelling. No, it's not. I never said it was integral to the storytelling. It's the laziest, most profit-based aspect of comic books. And yeah, in some ways, sure. But it's commercial art, dude. Like, it's commercial art. If they didn't care about money at all, they would just tell the stories in their head. You know? It's commercial art. And real talk, like, bro, like, I've been reading Iron Man books forever. I've been reading Superman books forever. It's just a part of it. I don't care. I just want to read those characters. Occasionally, every once in a while, there are new characters that are really interesting. But I think some of the best stuff in comics is like a new twist on an old lemon. You know? Like, I've been reading these same characters and the same base level Avengers and all these different guys for literally like 30 years. I don't care. Give the people what they want. I still think we're hoping RDJ will save the MCU again, but not sure he wants to do it, despite the money. I don't know. Recently has been talked about missing being in the trenches. Yeah, no. Hunter Autumn says, comic fans might understand / accept characters constantly coming back. But that kind of thing will turn off a lot of wider general audiences, in my opinion. Well, I guess we'll see. Josh on Killashit says, what's up, Josh? Have you ever played Verse System? Actually, I have, but it was a long time ago. I have all the MCU cards. They're still dope, and I haven't gotten to read through the instructions yet. Oh, I didn't know that they were top 3,000. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, the Versus system was cool, though, man. The Versus system ended up becoming a lot of the model for HeroClix as well, if I remember correctly. And the Versus system was cool. But this was like a long time ago, man. I think RDJ has the power to bring back normies. Yeah. I don't really see it being this big problem. And I actually really don't think that a ton of the audience will like reject it or think it's meaningless or whatever. I truly believe that attitude represents a minority of the fans. For sure. I think most fans will freak the fuck out when Robert Downey Jr. comes back. I think most fans would be pumped to have Robert Downey Jr. back permanently. It doesn't fix everything. It's not like a cure-all, but it would just be super cool. I love that character. And to see Tony Stark interacting with Reed, interacting with the mutants, I think it would be sick. Like, I truly believe it's a small minority of people that would find it to be annoying or whatever. And they'd probably still go see the movie. Michael Dixon says, I think Alexander Draymond should play Dr. Doom. Eh? Okay, let me check this out. Check this out. What's this guy in? What's this guy in? So he hasn't really done... He's done a lot of TV, huh? He hasn't really done too much big stuff. I mean, maybe. I can see it. Maybe. Dirt Wizard says, watch Black Adam last night on HBO Max. After seeing the after credits with Cavill and Superman, I think James Gunn made a huge mistake dropping him. Yeah, I mean, time will tell how big of a mistake, if at all, that was. I think doing the full reboot is probably smart. I just think the way he went about it and the way he's trying to, like, control the narrative is going to end up really doing damage. Because, again, nobody... Like, a lot of people just thought that when he was, like, false, that it meant he was going to keep Henry Cavill. And he obviously didn't. So, we'll see, man. I'm still hopeful that Gunn will be able to pull it off and be able to give us some really cool stuff. But I think that... I think they should just cancel all the movies next year and just tax write-off for sure. Avengers Gender Wars to cap the gender saga in 2033. Maybe. That's a bold move. You know what, though? In some ways, because, like, of course, that just sounds so cringe, right? And it sounds so stupid. But is it actually worse than sort of what they did with She-Hulk? I would actually argue that doing a full-on gender war and actually taking it seriously could be way more compelling than whatever the fuck She-Hulk was. Truly believe that. I do, man. I know that might be a wild-ass take, but that's what I think. Skipped a member chat from like 10 minutes ago. Let me see if I can see it here. Infinite Multiverse says Eric Bana should come back as Maestro, Liv as Red She-Hulk, Bucky should have gotten Cap's shield, Travis Fimmel should play Thane to avenge Thanos' death. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. I agree. I think that could be fun. What if it was Zaslav that decided to cut out Henry Cavill? I don't think so, brother. I don't think so. As far as I understand it, they were potentially even making changes to J.J. Abrams' Superman movie to just make it Henry Cavill instead of a black Superman. Like, I had heard that was going on. And I think Cavill would have been open to do almost anything. Because Cavill didn't even love Zack's stuff, to be honest with you. You know? So. I don't know. Strange times. We'll see. That Superman movie better slap. That Superman movie better slap. That's all I'm saying. John White says, hey fam, just wanted to thank everyone for their prayers. Last few weeks have been tough, but hopefully 2023 brings recovery and remission. Love you all. John White, man, we're thinking of you, brother. We're thinking of you, man. Send me a message on Discord, too. Because I want to know exactly what's going on. I've been a little out of touch these past couple of days. But. Yeah, 2023 or 2022 was a weird year for a lot of folks. I think a lot of people are looking forward to 2023. But also, there's this feeling in 2023, at least for me, where it's like, I mean, I think it's going to be better, but I don't know how much better. I'm kind of looking for 2024 to be a real turnaround year. 2023 kind of feels like a, like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Anybody else kind of feel me on that? Like, I just kind of have this feeling that, like, 2023 is going to be like we're kind of coasting. You know? Yeah, it kind of feels like a filler year a little bit. Yeah. Can we see the terms and conditions before going into the new year of 2023? Yeah, I want to know what we're agreeing to, right? Yeah. Josh, you just jinxed us with saying that. No. No. Yeah, I'm hoping What If is awesome. I'm hoping X-Men 97 is awesome. Ahsoka. Can Kang carry the MCU? I think we're going to find out real soon. Can he even carry a singular movie? I think we're going to find out real soon. Yeah. I have old memes from 2019 that said 2020 was going to be great. Yeah, dude, everybody was so hyped for 2020 before it all happened. You know? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a tough one. Any miscellaneous X-Men mutants? You know who I really want to see it is Phantom X. Phantom X is fun. Hey, broski, what file and format are your intro vids with the city and Nerdventures Tower? I think they're just MP4s. And we got them designed like a year ago in like a 3D thing. But I am looking to upgrade. I want to upgrade. I want the Nerdventures Tower to be looking real clean, real good, you know? Dude, yeah, Bleach was awesome. Bleach was awesome. I'm excited for Bleach next year, too. The next part comes out in July. That's going to be awesome. Maybe or Dragon Ball next year. Let's go. Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm going to get on out of here. I don't know if we'll have a video today. I've got to write and record. So we'll probably have one out tomorrow. But we should have a couple more out this week. And then in the new year, we'll start getting on it a little bit more. Have more content pumped out each week. It's going to be fun. So I appreciate y'all. I played League like a little bit. I'm not good at it. And, I also just want to say, too, like, no, I don't mean to, like, if you don't think RDJ coming back is a good idea or you don't like some of these things, it's all good. I don't mean to, like, belittle your opinion or whatever. I just kind of have my opinion, and I see it the way I see it, and so I just kind of, like, try to keep the conversation moving. But, look, the audience at the end of the day has every right to feel the way they feel about it. I think they have every right to be skeptic. I think they have every right to, be trepidatious with some of these decisions. And I think the audience is ultimately the boss, right? I just personally think that when it comes to some of this stuff, it's a small group of people that have an issue with it. And it would be better for the whole if we did bring some of these people back. If we did shift a little bit and make other considerations. So that's all I want to say. Much love. Appreciate you. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Hey, what do you mean I missed something? Somebody in chat said I missed a chat. I didn't miss no chat. Did I know? Did I miss it? Did I miss a chat? My bad. Just everybody relax, man. Just everybody keep cool, my babies. Keep cool, man. It's going to be all right. We're going to get through it together. We're going to be all right. It's all right. Yeah. Jeez, guys. It's going to be okay. You know? It's gonna be okay. Coral! Freaking Coral in the chat. Hey, much love to you all. I appreciate you. We'll be back at it tomorrow, of course. Gambling, call-ins, and all sorts of fun going on tomorrow. Much love. Make sure you open up that third eye. Make sure you wash out your stinky butt. Put some lotion on your skin if you're in a dry place. I mean, fucking the cold weather, man. It's crazy out here. Make sure you're eating your fruits and vegetables. Drinking plenty of water each day, you know. Saving some stuff, some money away for a rainy day. And just, you know, watching all the